Today is August 8th, 2019. I always think of new beginnings with the number 8, so it'll be interesting to see what happens today. Well, it's been 2 weeks since I've done a garden update. I kind of noticed that every other week that I seem to get more views. If you're one of those people that really want to see a weekly update, let me know. I might keep on doing weekly updates. I might go to every other week, but I don't want to overdo my videos. But here we are. There's not really much happening in the greenhouse. Most of the things I haven't really been attending to that great. But here, let me show you what's happening, and we'll go through the garden. Really, the only thing to show you is that I have some lavender that seems to be prospering. And then I have some tomato plants, which really should have been planted out, but I really don't know where I'd plant them. So if I come up with a place to plant them, I'll plant them. I mean, they still might produce by the end of the year if I plant them out. So here we go. So you can see I've actually taken some basil and dried out. So I have a small jar of dried leaves over the last couple of weeks. And you can see how this basil plant is going to seed. So I should actually harvest these leaves. But I don't know who I'd harvest them for. I've got a big jar of basil. And I've been harvesting some of this mint. You can see how it's cut back. So I've got some dried mint, and I've been also using the herbs and things for pickles. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. Over the last bit, I've been getting lots of cucumbers. So I've done 29 jars of pickles, hot water bath, and then 2 others just cold. Refrigerator pickles. So that's a total of 31. So maybe it's 32, because I think I did one twice in the fridge. So anyway, that's a lot of pickles. And you can see that this butter crunch lettuce is going to flower, so that means it'll go to seed. Now I actually bought some other butter crunch seed, and this is a great time of year to start new lettuce. And look, can you see that bee on this basil? So, let's go through here. So I've got a few basil plants that are doing pretty nice here, and I guess I could dry some more basil. I probably should, and some more mint, because I like mint. Now the bok choy, something likes eating on the bok choy, it looks like, but it's surviving. Getting bigger. Now look at that. Now the okra. Now actually I expect to have okra right now. So not to see flowers is kind of surprising. But soon. I expect to see flowers and then okra very quickly. And look at that underneath there. What kind of... Oh, well, that's not good. Looks like a June bug. So anyway, there's you can see that it's taller than me now, so it's about 6 foot tall, the okra. And most of the corn looks like it's done. But I think I still have a little bit of corn. You see that one here? Coming up. But the corn is, at least this batch of corn is pretty much done. Now, I had an inch of rain last night, or yesterday, so the rain barrels are full. You can see there's still some rainwater on top of this container. You can see how the ground is still very wet, so it hasn't dried out. We've been getting a few tomatoes. I've been giving some away, making a bit of salsa with the tomatoes. Now we still have that watermelon on the ground there. Now, I'm not really an expert on when to tell when they're ripe. But I have 3 watermelons. Looks like I have one here. And these are a what, black diamond. And one there. And one on the ground. And this is all from this one watermelon vine here. And so we'll see. They've been growing. I would expect to be able to eat one of them pretty soon. So this is kind of what it looks like in here. A little bit overgrown. And it always gets crowded. Especially, man, those cucumbers are just tremendously crowded. Look at that. I think it's a little bit more than I can handle. But look, you can see a cucumber growing right there. Can you see that? So you can make pickles out of that. And this actually is a second. There's 2 pieces of wire here. And I've got a piece of board separating them because it started to fall over this second wire. So I kind of was trying to get an air gap. It was getting so thick. Yeah, it's still crazy thick. So we can see a few tomatoes. They're not ripe at the moment, but I've had a few tomatoes already. And I've given them a few away. So you can see that big tomato in there. Can you see it? Here, there. You see it? And that one's pretty green. Now all of this has been harvested. These were potatoes and then garlic. And now in this area I'm burying any organic waste throughout my garden. Wherever I have harvested stuff, I'll dig a hole and then put in, you know, any cucumber bits or whatever organic, you know. So that's what I'm doing with the organic waste at the moment. I'm not really composting it. I'm burying it, and the ground will compost it for me. So you can see that's pretty thick in there. I don't seem like I have that many tomatoes that need to be picked today. There may be a few. Even the cucumbers aren't too bad. Now, like I say, I have been having tremendous amounts of cucumbers. So in some ways I could even be considered cucumbered out. I mean, I've never canned pickles before. So I made, like I said, it looks like about 31, 32 jars of pickles already. And I've done 3 batches and then some refrigerator pickles. And I think I'm getting better with each batch. So, but I'm running short on jars, but I still probably do at least one more batch with all these vines doing so well. So I'm sneaking through here. So, oh, look, you see those 2 watermelon? And then, you know, I've got some cabbage I need to pick. And if I had somebody who liked to cook with it, I should. Sometimes I do, actually. I like to do stir fry with it, but lately I haven't been doing stir fry. So here's another cucumber vine. It's been doing pretty good. And again, this bed was potatoes, and I dug them up. I didn't get that many really, but now I've already dug up the whole length and buried stuff in it all the way through there. In fact, you can see that tea bag on the top there. Oh no, that's a potato. Well, anyway, there's some tea bags buried in there and stuff. Now you see the little plants coming forth? That is mustard. That's mustard. So I'll get a harvest of mustard if I want it. And I don't mind mustard. It's a great green fertilizer. Now there is 1 tomato, 2 tomatoes in there that need to be picked. So here, I guess I can show you. Oh, maybe more than 2. Can you see that? I got the camera held right. So anyway, now these are not Brandywine pink. This is some other type of tomato, but it's beautiful. So anyway, I've got some tomatoes in there. Well, shoot, with my skills, this may be a Brandywine. The leaves look like they were Brandywine pink or red. You know, there's a lot of Brandywine. So we got at least one cantaloupe here coming along. So not a lot, but I do have, you see that cucumber there? It's a beautiful cucumber. So this vine here, now I have noticed that the vines that are growing with more air around them are producing a lot more cucumbers than down there. You see how that is quite a that is watermelon and cucumber vines, and mostly cucumbers seem to be taking over on top of the watermelon. But in terms of actual cucumbers, there hasn't been near as much as you might think from having that massive vines. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Today's a beautiful day to be out and about. I love that picture where you see how the cucumber vine has come over on the gate, and look, I need to take a picture of that. There's a cucumber there. Yesterday the day before I traveled down to visit one of my sisters, actually both of my sisters, but one was coming up from Georgia. So, and that's rainwater in there. So I went down to visit her. So I haven't really been doing much in the garden the last couple of days, letting things grow. But so that you can see there's a few cucumbers. Look at this one. See that one there? And then that one. And that one. Those can all be picked. In fact, I could easily make a jar or two of cucumbers. I've got some brine still to make at least one more jar. I ran out of cucumbers, but that's okay. Look at that flower. Isn't that nice? Now the peppers, I wonder, soon I should be seeing peppers. Now there are some, you can see how those cherry tomatoes there. I've got a lot to come out here and pick. They're all in here. So this is what it looks like. You can't really see. It's kind of a wall of privacy, which is kind of nice. So that's the hidden garden. Let's see what we can see over here, if anything. So you can see that cantaloupe growing. Can you see them? So there's a cantaloupe there. And sometimes you'll find a few cucumbers, but look how tall it is. That's 7 feet tall, it looks like. So I finally had this squash plant here die on me. I mean, it was being killed by bugs, but it looks like you can see the weeds. But there's a tomato plant here and a cantaloupe over there. So I guess I should pull the weeds by hand, but we'll see what happens. And actually, that's a pretty nice cabbage there. And now this is that little garden out by the mailbox. Now I planted this, remember when I planted this pumpkin? That's just a few weeks out here, and look, it's already growing up that cage. Can you see that? I also put a couple of tomatoes, really small ones, and they've already popped. At least a couple of the plants have popped up pretty big in just a couple of weeks. Can you see how that vine is really quite something? I've got a few of the flowers that are showing themselves. So I kind of like that. Now this one here, this tomato. Now this one is what I call a Brandywine pink tomato. And you can see the other tomato is definitely not the same tomato plant. So there you have it. Now, I used about every herb I had in my garden to go in my pickle jars, and when I ran out of dill, you see this? That is carrot leaves. It turns out that carrot leaves are extremely healthy. So I have put some of those in my pickles as herbs. But you can also blend them up and drink them as a smoothie. So that was something new I learned. Anyway, carrot leaves are extremely healthy for you. So here we are in the backyard. You can see those cucumber vines are under attack. Something's harming them. I mean, look at all the spots. Something's attacking them. But even so, I've got a lot of cucumbers off of these vines. And let's see if we can see a cucumber on this. Well, there's a little one there. You see him? So in a day or so, that can be picked. But you can see how hard these cucumbers leaves have been attacked. You see that cucumber there? There's one there, one there, one here. Oh, one on the ground there. So there's a handful of cucumbers. Looks like a few of them can be picked. No hurry. I mean, we could actually let them go even longer. So now here are 2 watermelons. Now I'm trying to figure out when I need to pick that watermelon. So I'm not really sure. But anyway, there we are. Now that rice project so far has been a total fail. I don't see any rice growing in any one of those containers. So that's a mess. Well, anyway, it was an experiment. I was kind of hoping to get a lot of rice. Evidently it takes 3.5 months to 4 months for it to grow. So now it's not too late. Actually, you got plenty of times to do another thing of green beans if you wanted to grow beans. I have some pole beans in the front yard. Now, my peppers are just now the plants are starting to get big. Now I got a couple basil plants in there too. And looks like I have some more cherry tomatoes. What was so funny, I thought I didn't have that many cherry tomatoes growing this year. But it turns out I had quite a few. And there's a there's a cucumber there. And a cucumber over there. So I've got a few cucumbers. Now, I did want to show you the butternut squash. You see them? That looks nice, doesn't it? So I have one here. And then I have one over on that big vine. So here, let's show you. If I can find one. I thought I had one. You see how small it is? Right there. So I got 2 butternut squash. Oh, 3, 4. There's 2 on this little one. Right together. You see them? Right down in there. So that'll be neat. Oh, I was supposed to already have dug up these potatoes and harvested them. But I didn't. I need to do that. But look, isn't that awesome? Mushrooms. 2 mushrooms coming up. Now and look at that. 3, 4, 5 cantaloupe. Here, let me get closer. Now, this cantaloupe should be, you see it? Here. Well, I don't smell it. But those lines are so prominent. The problem is when it gets real ripe, it may just fall right off. So I need to, anyway. So I got a few cantaloupe here. That's kind of nice. But I haven't had any cantaloupe yet this year. Oh, and that's another cucumber over there. Now these guys don't get that much direct sunlight. So, you see that nice cucumber there? And then I've got some pole beans here running up the fence. So we'll see. So I've got a few beans. Now the oregano I've been using with the pickling, adding oregano in, and basil I've added, and thyme, because I have all that thyme in the front yard, and what else? Mint. I added in mint, and of course I had mustard and stuff, but not mustard, not my mustard, but I added in mustard. That's supposed to be. So look at that. Isn't that nice? So here we are back in the, I'm calling it the Faith Garden and the Secret Garden. And you can see the mustard has come up in here, and man, everything has been eaten pretty heavily. Look at that. But you can see the pumpkin vines coming over the fence, and there's some corn that may make it, and the flowers look pretty tall. But wow, it looks like the pumpkin is going to take over that whole garden, this whole Faith Garden. Now this is the Secret Garden over here. You can see I haven't been working out in here lately, so you can see the weeds coming up. But look, all of these vines have come over into the greater sun area. I think there's 6 vines in there, and of course I had that one vine out front at the mailbox. And you can see the flowers here. Let's walk over and look at the flowers. So the cherry tree, and the other cherry tree. But look at this. Now I was babysitting, I was dog napping. Look at that pumpkin vine that's come all the way across the whole garden. That's the thing about pumpkins. When they start growing, they can cover a big area, and it looks like, now you can see that pumpkin, the watermelon vine has come through, but it started right here. So this other vine has already come from 15, 20 feet away. So it looks like, well, the basil, I could come in here and harvest some of that basil. You see how well it's doing? But there's a pumpkin vine right through it, trying to overshadow everything, trying to take over. Well, they are taking over, but look at those flowers. They're beautiful. So it looks like I'm going to get some pumpkins I don't see any bees. Hopefully I know you can fertilize the pumpkin, with the, I think you do that with pumpkins, but God's going to have to do it. The bees and the butterflies are going to have to do it for me. Otherwise, I don't see actually any pumpkins growing, but I see some flowers. We'll see if pumpkins turn up. But that's what it's looking like. You can see how everything is wet and damp. And man, everything looks healthy, doesn't it? That's a nice secret garden, isn't it? And you can see the flowers. Some of the flowers have made it. And look, they've grown very tall. And maybe the pumpkins are encouraging them to grow tall so they can survive. But I got a few flowers making it. Now the tomato plants, well, I don't know if they're going to be able to, how well they're going to do. Okay, that's the Secret Garden and the Faith Garden. Last week, like I said, I was babysitting a dog by the name of Ruby, and she is actually a mole hunter. So I'm now calling her Mulebane, the Mulebane. And she caught a mole just down over there. It was really very, very exciting to see how she did that. Very sharp dog. So this year I found quite a bit of mushrooms in my yard, which has been a huge blessing since I love mushrooms. And look at this one. This mushroom here is the one that you get at Chinese restaurants in their hot and sour soup. Look at that. Now I've got a number of these already in the fridge. They dry up, but if you put them in soup, they will become very tender and they're very tasty. They really take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking in. So this has been here a while, these logs. But like I said, and you can see there's another right there. I'll leave that there for now, let it get bigger. But there's another one there, and I may have left this one there too long. I better pick it. So there's another mushroom. Well, shoot, am I gonna get it? Right here. Well, we'll see if it comes back. So I've got a handful of mushrooms, and there's one there on the ground, and another one over there. So there's another 3 mushrooms that I've left to grow bigger. But I'm saving these, putting them in the fridge, and when I make soup, I'll put them in. I hope you've enjoyed this garden update. It's been, like I say, it's been 2 weeks. A lot has happened in the garden, and it looks like I need to plant some more peas, and so I need to get to that. I've got a place, you know, where I had the peas before. I'll plant peas there again, and I'm not sure. I'm going to try and plant some butternut. Butter crunch lettuce, some fresh lettuce, and then there's a lot of leaves that need to be picked and dried out and kept. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.